Coming up on World's Greenest Homes. A cool house in the Nevada desert where just about everything used to be something else.
The ceiling timber that you see up there, vinegar barrel fir.
So was there actually vinegar?
There was, and in fact, when the wood arrived on site, you could very clearly smell the vinegar.
And in England, a famous fashion designer turns his home into a fun and functional, sustainable place to live.
We found the perfect lights, and this is old drinks cups that have been melted down and made into lights.
I'm Emmanuel Belliveau. Come with me on World's Greenest Homes and see the most extraordinary homes on the planet. Homes that are gorgeous, cool, and green. A busy city life can be wild and exciting, but if you're after open skies, spectacular views, and, well, being close to nature, then you've got to come with me to this next home. It's a beautiful green oasis in the sun-baked Nevada desert. I'm headed to Gardnerville, Nevada, about 50 miles from Lake Tahoe. Here, in the Eastern Sierra, it's wild and it's dry. If solar is your dream, then there's no better place to test it than out here in the desert, where the days are hot and the nights are cold. Nestled on a hillside, this sun-worshipping 3,400 square foot superhome is positioned to make the most of that hot desert sun. It's here that Suzanne Johnson, a retired scientist from California's Silicon Valley, built her solar dream home. Her two cats, Budley and Bandit, keep her company. The downstairs space is open plan, combining the kitchen, dining room, and living room. There are 3 light-filled bedrooms, 1 upstairs and 2 on the main floor. The real surprise is a solar-heated indoor pool just off the master bedroom.
I love the way the back of your house just kind of blends in with the locale.
I wanted it to blend in, and I wanted it to take advantage of the sun.
And wow, what a beautiful entry into your home. This is nice, too.
Yes.
Inside, views hit you from every angle, but it's Suzanne's unique design elements that really stand out.
So this is definitely recycled.
Absolutely. It is a horizontal stabilizer bar from an aircraft.
Does it work?
It only comes on when the grid goes down and the power goes off to the house.
No way.
And that's how I know that I am running on my backup power, and I might want to be a little bit careful.
In fact, pretty much every bit of clever design has a recycling story, like in the kitchen.
Where'd the purple glass come from?
The purple glass is manganese glass.
Oh.
A lot of it apparently was residing in the desert and wound up collected for one reason or another in an old mine cart.
Suzanne has even found a clever use for imperfections in that surface.
And the neat thing is, you know, when you bring a melon home from the market and you don't want it to roll off the counter, that's the perfect spot for it.
You've got a holder right there for it.
Absolutely.
You have a lot of recycled products in your home.
Yes.
Of course, it helps to have an abandoned mine nearby that sells old mining equipment. These sconces in the living room, they're made from old mining screen.
We were fortunate in being able to find a screen that still had copper ore trapped in it. So...
That's original. Who else has that, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Here's something else that had another life.
The ceiling timber that you see up there, vinegar barrel fir.
So was there actually vinegar?
There was, and in fact, when the wood arrived on site, you could very clearly smell the vinegar.
And how long did it take for that smell to dissipate?
It went within, a couple of months, actually. Like a white vinegar, not a balsamic vinegar or anything like that.
In the living room, the fireplace is designed for maximum efficiency.
You have a wood fireplace?
Yes, actually, this turns out to be a super efficient wood fireplace that I discovered on the internet. It is as efficient and as clean burning as enclosed wood stoves. And it's a very solid mass of concrete and fire brick in there. So when I burn a fire, there's warmth radiating from the structure for quite a long time afterwards.
This home is full of surprises, and downstairs is no exception. Imagine your very own solar-heated lap pool in your bedroom. Suzanne kept on recycling here as well. Those ceiling beams in the bedroom used to be part of an old aircraft hangar.
You have the feeling that you've got something that's unique, that not every other house on the block is going to have, and that you've done a little bit of something to help the environment.
So it's no surprise when Suzanne reveals she uses straw as insulation. Non-toxic and highly sustainable, straw bale insulation provides more than double the insulation value of standard wood frame homes.
And here's your compulsory straw bale window, your truth window.
Absolutely. That's kind of a tradition with straw bale homes, just to sort of prove to people that, yes, it really is straw that insulates those walls.
Plus, straw bale walls are less expensive than wood frame walls.
What did you cover your straw bale with?
The straw bales are covered with something called pisé, pneumatically impacted stabilized earth.
Pisé is a mixture of water, cement, and dirt. It's mud, basically. And when it dries, it looks like
Square dirt. And that's exactly what it looks like.
outside are the solar panels. Even though Suzanne's tied to the grid, these generate most of her energy needs. They also offset any power she pulls from the grid on cloudy days and at night. She calls it zero energy. Supporting some of the panels is a collection of antique rails and the wheels of old mining carts, arranged as a kind of sculpture.
Oh, and you've got a tree in here.
Well, yes, that is the one tree on site that actually we had to remove, which really, really broke my heart. It had a split trunk and we were afraid of its stability. Plus it was blocking sunlight.
Can't have that.
You certainly can't.
Not a
for
solar
house. So we removed it and reused it.
But solar panels aren't the only green tricks Suzanne has up her sleeve. To help keep her cool in the summer and warm all winter, this house is half buried in the mountain. And for extra insulation, the roof is carpeted with local vegetation. And it's attracted some unusual visitors.
A bear actually got up onto the roof. I was baking pies one day, and the exhaust fan from the kitchen is on the other side of the house.
Yeah.
A bear followed its nose and kind of headed right up for it. And
Well, maybe you're too in tune with your surroundings.
On the other side of the house, there's more recycling. Suzanne's contractor came up with the idea of using airplane flaps, or ailerons, from a Piper Cherokee as sunshades. One salvage flap will set you back $40. Multiply this by 40, and Suzanne was able to shade this part of her home for $1,600.
How do your ailerons work on your house?
they actually work very, very well. We really needed something that would shade the sun when the sun is high in the summertime and allow the sun in the wintertime. But we also needed something that would stand up to the very high winds that we get around here.
Wow, it must have taken a lot of ingenuity to figure out how to put the proper angles on all this as well.
It's all something that was calculated. The architects did that.
David Arkin was Suzanne's architectural mastermind. He used a high-tech instrument called a heliodon to understand how homes can take full advantage of the sun. He used a scale model of Suzanne's place. It's a lot less trouble than attaching her actual house.
So what the heliodon allows us to do is to study and understand how shading devices are working in our building. We have a stationary spotlight that mimics the sun. We start in the morning with the sunrise and then all the way through to sunset. So it's a wonderful tool for designing passive solar buildings.
Suzanne has built this home around the sun, and she's done it all with real flair and imagination.
How passionate are you about solar power?
I feel very strongly that we don't even begin as the human race to take advantage of the sun the way we could.
So Suzanne has turned to her four-legged friends for inspiration.
There was a book written a number of years ago called The Solar Cat. The author points out that a cat can solve the energy problem in 2 steps. It gets cold, it goes out in the sun, and sits there and gets warm.
But even in this extraordinary desert home, there was one bit of design that Suzanne would change.
Include wider windowsills for my cats to sit on so they can take in the sun better.
That's a wonderful idea. After all, they know solar best.
They know solar best.
Our next homeowner grew up recycling everything. He's now a famous figure in the fashion industry, but he's never lost that instinct to conserve and reuse. He's now applying his talents to all things eco, and his home has become a treasure trove of inventive green design.
We're in Chichester on the south coast of England. With its quaint harbors and beautiful countryside, Chichester is Old England at its best. And it's home to the creators of Red or Dead, a fashion label in the 1980s and 90s that proved cutting-edge style could still be affordable. Today, Wayne and Geraldine Hemingway apply that award-winning philosophy to their interest in all things eco. Their new company specializes in thrifty creations from clothes to furniture, even their home. Wayne and his wife and business partner Geraldine live on this 3.5-acre property with 2 of their 4 children, 11-year-old Beckett and 18-year-old Corey. For this family, sustainability begins at home.
All we're doing is following the principles that we were brought up with, and that's the thrift principle. And Geraldine had always had a dream to build a home, but we decided to stick to a pretty minimal budget, really.
And 10 years on, and here it is.
Still being added to.
Oh, yeah, and it'll never be finished. Sorry.
Inside their front door, a short hallway leads to a sitting room. A corridor beside the sitting room leads to the bedroom wing. Upstairs is an open-plan living space, including kitchen and a dining area, family room, and rec area with a walkout deck. Outside, there's a pool, a summer house, and yes, that is a teepee.
When we first built this house, the idea was that the bedrooms were going to be up here and we were going to live downstairs. And then when it was halfway through the build, we came up here without the roof on, and we stood and we looked out there, and Geraldine just said, we've got to have the living space up here, looking out over the trees and over the countryside. This natural light, the space, we've just got to do it. So we changed the whole plans for the house in mid-build. The idea behind this room was to have one big family room. You get somebody cooking in there, you get somebody sat doing their work here, maybe the little lad doing his own work over there, and somebody might be sat down reading, but you're all in one room together and it just works. The kids could be playing on something like this climbing wall here, and, you know, why a climbing wall? Well, it's 20 foot high and it just seemed great to have a piece of art here, and then we thought, well, why can't the piece of art be a climbing wall?
Almost all of the furniture is second-hand or reworked, like these sofas, made from an old boat that a friend wrecked off the coast of England.
And this has been a popular thing over the years, just a pile of post-it notes. You can just write on it. Beck's been writing down the recent football scores on there, and we write our notes on it. Just a bit of fun. So you've got to build places that people are happy and that they don't feel that they need to drive off to the cinema or to the bowling alley because they're bored. You know, if we can make houses places where you don't get bored, then we really are being sustainable. If you can find things that you absolutely love and cherish and want to keep, like our grandparents did and our parents did, that's, again, one of the most sustainable things you can do. We will never have to go out and buy a sofa. We found the perfect lights. And this is old drinks cups that have been melted down and made into lights.
I like the idea of open plan living, and I wanted my kitchen to be part of it, but I didn't want it to feel too much like a kitchen. So the idea is that, again, everything is behind a cupboard. Obviously, we can't put everything behind the cupboard, so we've got a few of the hobs on top, but everything as far as, like, toasters, toasted sandwich makers, fridges and freezers, they're all behind drawers. So the idea is that everything's all tucked away. Right, well, we've got a wine chiller, or a water chiller for Wayne, doesn't drink. The cookers, nice big cookers, which are brilliant for when we're entertaining. We have 2 big parties a year, or 3 big parties a year for Easter egg hunts and bonfire night. So great for entertaining. And again, it's another fridge that we turn on if we've got lots of people coming. Otherwise, it's just a storage unit. The same old things you have in kitchens, dishwashers. The big thing that I love in the kitchen is the drawers for storage rather than cupboards. It's just so much easier to get access to all the stuff that you need out of a drawer than fumbling around in the back of a cupboard. It's a great kitchen for doing prep and to creating a nice dinner, but at the end of the session, you could put everything just goes away and it feels like a living space again.
10 years ago, 11 years ago, when this place was conceived, it was mainly built on thrift, and it just so happens that a lot of that thinking now makes us sustainable. We weren't thinking about the fact that, you know, all your utilities are downstairs and the warmth rising up here warms this floor, which is a floor we spend most of our time on. But now sustainability experts come here and they tell us, oh, it was very clever living upstairs, but again, it was like just one of those things that you do. This is one of our favourite bits of the house, just getting out on here and just looking at this, you know, it's just, you think, we've really done something decent here.
Now it's downstairs to the ground floor, where we find the bedrooms and a very traditional room with a very modern spin.
And this is kind of the, we call it the snug, which is kind of an English front room, a kind of an old Lancashire word for a front room.
It's a place where you can just go and chill out on your own.
Yeah. And this is just a giant bit of wall art. One of our businesses is to kind of reproduce these prints, and I think it's just a lovely way of doing wallpaper, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's got a weave, it's on a woven paper, is this, so it's got that texture like it's been painted onto canvas.
And also, the thing about this is it's not ridiculously expensive, and you can, when you get a little bit bored with it, you can put another one up, can't you? This is our art.
The brown chairs came from a second-hand shop, and the fabric on this couch is made of leftover jacket lining from their old Red or Dead label. And this piece was another steal.
It was blooming cheap. You know, this is from a junk shop, and then when it arrived, we started to find.
Well, it came with the instructions because it was made. It was all made to be moved, so it all breaks down into little components, and the guy meticulously drew everything for us, showing us how it all went back together, which was absolutely brilliant.
And then it was things like, you know, you pull that out, and you know we don't use
the cocktail cabinet. It's our...
look at the muck in here. And that, you know, look at the cobwebs in there, and that's where we, you know, that's where we keep pictures and things.
Everything opens up.
And there's all light bulbs in it. Then we started to think, well, there's drawers in it, and what's that behind there? Well, there's nothing behind there. And then what's that? And it's
well,
like,
there is.
well, we know what, yeah, but we didn't know at the time when it arrived, did we?
No.
Then we started to open up all of this, and there's all these sliding things. And then we realised there's little wires in it, and it's a quadraphonic stereo. It's all wired up for a quadraphonic stereo system, which we can't open now because that's it. So now we keep our old records in there, and there's a stereo system. And
well, the idea is you can have a TV in this one as well, and you've got different speaker systems. Our bedroom is possibly one of my favourite rooms of the house. Well, I love the idea on a weekend that I can wake up here, I can open the doors into the garden and have a look at this beautiful view, and Wayne normally brings me a cup of coffee, so I can enjoy a nice cup of coffee in bed. So around the corner upstairs we have our ensuite bathroom. Simple, clean lines.
And stainless steel fixtures, like this toilet that's used in British prisons.
I mean, the beauty of the house is that most of the bedrooms open into outdoor space. This is Corey's bedroom. Corey's the youngest girl, and she likes it. She's into a bit of glamour, really.
I really like this old style of vintage materials. And then we found this material and made it into a curtain, as you can see here, and it kind of hides all my clothes and for a blind design, I wanted something a bit different, so I've got a nice Russian woman to look at when I'm sleeping. It's quite cheaply done. It's just kind of material lying about and stuff that I enjoy, and I like patterns, so that's what inspired it, really.
Outside is where we find some of their more unique eco features.
water's a big issue nowadays, so we've built a series of drainage ditches, and all the water off the house comes into these drainage ditches, and then a lot of the water goes into a big tank down there, and that is then used to irrigate. And then over the far side, just to the left of the football goals there, underneath the ground, there's a sewage treatment plant. So all our poo and wee ends up there. And then fresh water comes out and again goes into the drainage ditches to irrigate. And then once a year you can pump all of the stuff out that's in the bottom that the worms have treated, and that makes soil. And that's why all these plants it's like tropical. It's like England, but this garden feels so tropical. The boat was a project. We had the boat in the water down at the harbour for a while when all the kids were younger, and so we brought the boat out and it became like a play den for the youngest kid, and I think we'll eventually turn it into some kind of place that guests can come and stay in the garden.
This is my jungle walk. I think it came from when we used to go on holiday to Australia. I used to love going in the rainforest and walking in the undergrowth of all the plants and things. So the idea was I used reclaimed telegraph poles, and I've got the climbers going all up them. In between them both, I've got the American oak, which is an evergreen tree. So eventually, when the telegraph poles probably perish and fall down, I'll still have a canopy that I can work with, and we won't lose this jungle walk.
The summer house is next to the pool. It's constructed from leftover telephone poles and other material from the old house. Inside, there's a DJ area for Wayne, and outside, a green roof collects water for their gardens.
This was Geraldine's design. It's a water butt. Water butts used to be those ugly green barrels, and we thought, well, why not have the size of a big lady's backside, like that? So you can do that when you let the water out, which comes off the green roof at the top. And just like all ladies have nowadays, it's got the tattoo just above the thong line.
Beside the summer house is one of the home's most unusual green features, a wood-burning hot tub.
And this is a brilliant piece of sustainable design. And, you know, it's really cool, number one. Just look at the colour, look at the shape, it's really cool. But it just doesn't impact on the environment at all to use it. It's not like your normal hot tub where you're having to, use electricity or use gas to do it. So you get your fallen tree bits and bits of leaves and stuff, and you stick it in there, light it, fill this with water, and just by the water flowing up through there when it gets heated, it comes out of here as steam. And that, believe me, I could not leave my hand in that, and that's just burning rubbish in the garden. We'll come out here tonight when it cools down, and me and Geraldine will probably just sit in here and watch the stars, and we love it.
Wayne and Geraldine designed their outdoor space to be enjoyed in as many ways as possible. This teepee, made from unused telephone poles, is sometimes an office.
I mean, it's nice to get fresh air, and sometimes if you get into a nice place, it doesn't feel like you're working, it feels like you're enjoying yourself at the same time.
And with all this camouflage, nobody knows where we are. When the kids' friends come round, they just think it's a big adventure playground.
To be able to come out here and kick a ball with your kids and throw a ball and play catch and do all that, and to hear kids having a great time, and that's the luxury, they can do it here.
Wayne and Geraldine built their family home with a sense of fun and whimsy, filling it with found and recycled items that they cherish. It's their own Shangri-La. Everything they want and need is here. And what can be more sustainable than that?
If you're a designer, you care about where you live, you care about things like that, so it's not rocket science, is it?
Not at all.
It's common sense. And
it's really rewarding being able to sit in this environment and think, we did this.
the main thing is, following what you want and not following what fashion wants.